Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smart. Just a quick little video, Always got to stay consistent when it comes to having evidence and having proof when it comes to this channel. And gonna do it with Britt Baker also. Now, to be fair, everything that I discuss, and I'm gonna extend the same charitability to anyone else within the wrestling community outside of the actual journalists or reporters in themselves, because they're the ones who are giving the information for us commentary channels to talk about. In the end of the day, if something comes out as a commentary channel, even if you're not really a reporter or a journalist in your own right, and I don't think it's fair to come after. And I know it's probably like one of those things where it's like, oh, well, you have a vested interest because you're a commentary channel also. But no, I've always kept the same status quo. Like if you happen to be an opinionated channel and you're just talking about your opinions, whether it's wrestling, whether it's news, if you get your news, right, unsubstantiated and it's corroborated throughout a bunch of other people and journalists and whatever the case may be, then that's fine. Or even if you're an opinionated channel and you're just talking about things that are going throughout the rumor mill, that's fine. As long as you let everyone know that it's not fact and you don't run with it as if it's fact. You put it in your title, you put it in your thumbnail, you make sure to reiterate that same premise over and over and over and over again. You have to make it known that whatever you're talking about is literally just rumors, because in the end of the day, it's all just content, right? But at the same time, if a person comes out and they're willing to tell their side of the story, you have to cover it just the same. That's where the problem lies if you're a commentary channel and you don't do your due diligence as said commentary channel. It's fine if the news comes out and you run with it or you want to talk about it, right? It's another thing if you don't come out when there's actually another side to the story and talk about it, right? Because then you just come off as biased. And that's actually what's occurring right now. So Britt Baker went out of her way to tweet this out. She said, and I quote, "I understand we as performers are expected to have thick skin through opinions and lies we read about ourselves, but spreading lies about my personal life is just low, weird, and something I won't tolerate. I've never cheated on anyone in my life. Hashtag tell your source." And that's fine. Like I always said when it came to Britt Baker, whenever I covered all the things that, were circulating around her that she's been accused of, I've always said that either A, I'll leave a link down so you guys can read it for yourselves, so you can see that all I'm doing is just talking about the things that are circulating within the wrestling community in itself. Or at the very least, B, understand that I'm not going out of my way to, spread lies or anything like that. I'm just saying the thing that's already been stated, right? It's one thing if I'm a journalist, like I said, never claim myself to be a journalist, never claim myself to be a writer, just talking about the things that are circulating throughout the rumor mill. But that's her claim. That's her claim. You hear other podcasters talk about certain things and people who, they're wrestlers, they're performers. I'm not going to throw out any names or anything like that, but they say that they've witnessed things backstage happening and they say that, hey, this is what's being talked about. This is what's being said. And you just talk about it, right? But to be fair, although I kind of feel like all content in the end of the day is fair game, as long as you're covering both sides of the issue, you know what I mean? In the end of the day, this is just my own personal opinion, right? Maybe there should be a little bit more resistance against doing things like that. And I'm talking about myself. Maybe I shouldn't say about anybody else, but maybe I should say it about myself personally, because I can't speak for everybody else. I can only speak for myself. Maybe there should be a lot more resistance to things like that, because I guess in the end of the day, this is someone's personal life who you're talking about, right? And like I said, all content in the end of the day, fair game. Make sure at the very least you make note of the fact that nothing that you're saying is fact, which I do. I like to think that I do that a lot, and I reiterated throughout my video. But at the same time, still understand and still recognize that the person that you're talking about is still a real person. And I'm not gonna lie. There is certain things that I think I said about Britt Baker that even though it is still content in the end of the day, and even though in the end of the day, most of the things I talk about as far as making the jokes and making the quips and the character attacks and stuff like that, it's all just jokes, obviously, right? I think anyone who watches my content, they will know that, they will understand that. at the end of the day, I guess when talking about some of these more serious topics, whether it's about someone's relationship, whether it's about someone's job, their backstage workings, or whatever the case may be, going forward, I should probably, at the very least, even when telling you that it's unsubstantiated, or in the end of the day, someone in regards to the topic that's being talked about has yet to give their side, or for an example, someone who is being talked about is being pretty much blasted throughout the community, at the very least, I should be a little bit more considerate going forward. Does that make any sense? Like, still, at the very least, go ahead and do the content, but at the very least, also, like, don't, even if you're joking, don't attack the person. Because, I do think about this, and I read Britt Baker's tweet, and I can't tell you if she's lying, obviously. I'm reading her tweet, and I'm going to say that it's also because it's coming from the own person's personal perspective, right? At the same time, I can look at Britt Baker's tweet and I can extend the same type of charitability and suggest that the journalists or the writers, they said that they have proof, and Britt Baker is saying that there is no proof. So, in the end of the day, it is a he said, she said story. But obviously, I'm going to line up more with the person that's being affected by the situation, stating the claim, no different than I would be, say, for an example, if a guy got attacked and the whole entire internet dogpiled them, and they were like, oh, this person is a whore, or this person is a terrible person, or this person blah, 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 or this person raped someone, all the stuff when it comes to men being blamed for shit, when in reality is nowhere near as deep as it actually is. In fact, in some instances, looking at you, Kimberly, it could be flat out exaggerated or misconstrued on purpose to make the person look bad. The same thing can be extended to a Britt Baker too. And I gotta say, there is a part of me, actually there's a lot, to the extent that I'm going to move forward a little bit more cautiously going forward when talking about these things. There is a part of me that kind of regrets talking about Britt Baker in the manner of how I talked about her in the past. And I'm not sure, obviously, I'm not going to say she's seen my video. I think that's a little bit too egotistical. But if she did, if she is hearing this, I don't know. But I do want to say I do apologize. I think that's fucked up how I did kind of at least come across. Even if I am outright joking, it is a serious situation that is legitimately affecting someone's life, and I should be a little bit more considerate. And like, whenever I talk like this, because I don't do this for anything, I don't backtrack on anything that I say. I don't, unless I'm like trying to correct the situation, obviously. But as far as like my jokes and how I actually come across, me, I don't backtrack on anything I say. I will continue being who I am going forward in the sense of me telling jokes. But just when approaching a topic as serious as something that could legitimately affect someone's life, I should be a little bit more considerate going forward. And if she is hearing this, I don't know if she is, I do apologize, and I am really, really sorry about the approach that I took as far as talking about, and Adam Cole for that matter. Now, I do think, Adam Cole and his body and all that stuff is all fair game. I don't care. I really don't. Anything that has nothing to do with an immutable characteristic, I feel is all fair game. Like if I feel that you need to work on your body, I am going to shame you. I don't care. I really don't. You being thin-skinned about that at the end of the day has nothing to do with me. You picked the profession, and if you fail at the profession, then I'm going to go after you. I don't care. But when it comes to things like something as serious as a relationship, something as serious as someone's job being on the line, outwardly calling for them to be fired without actually having, that's the part that I regret. That's the part that I should know better. If anyone came at me like that, I'd be crashing out. So I do regret that part. Calling for someone to be fired, going off of backstage rumors, that's a piece of shit thing to do. That's definitely a piece of shit thing to do. And no one came at me. No one, has come after me. But when I read her tweet and I see the hashtag tell your source and all that kind of stuff, it's like, you know what? Yeah, Devontae, that was kind of fucked up, and you should be better than that. And obviously a Britt Baker watched my video or watched any videos in alliance to anything in regards to essentially going after her personal life, because that's what it is, then if she doesn't want to accept their apology, she has every right to, you know what I mean? Because again, you're going after someone in their personal life, and that's bullshit. And yeah, Yeah, that was fucked up on my part. Shouldn't have said anything about her being fired. Shouldn't have made jokes about her personal life when in reality that is going to reflect on her and her as a person, because you never know who would watch my video. And you know, thank God I don't have so much of a big channel, because you never know who that can influence. You know what I mean? So here on out going forward, when actually going upon or going off of subjects like this, I'm gonna be a little bit more hesitant of making jokes and quips and just personally attacking the person, because I know I just think that's just such a garbage thing to do, and I feel really bad doing that. But yeah, that's her tweet. Just to reiterate one more time, I understand we as performers are expected to have thick skin through opinions and lies we read about ourselves, but spreading lies about my personal life is just low, weird, and something I won't tolerate. And she's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. As far as the cheating claim is considered, like I said, I can only take her as serious as I take everyone else who says that they have proof. But I am willing to side more with her because it's actually reflecting off of the person. And until you can actually say that that person is legitimately guilty, then it's innocent until proven guilty. And that's how I always went about this. But yeah, that's the update when it comes to Britt Baker. Like I said, moving more cautiously going forward, but just an update. Uh, that's it. Catch you guys later.